to the elevator music that is the StreamYard tunes in the background here. What's up? What's up, people? How we doing? Welcome back. Another episode, Off the Schneid. Special guest, hitting cleanup, literally fourth spot in the guest throughout the week. We got the Candyman, Chris the Candyman from the Fantasy Football Garage. Had to bust out the shades, which helps with the light. It's wonderful. My friend, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always good to catch up, talk some ball. Been looking forward to it. So happy Friday, everyone.
Absolutely. I bullied Chris into drinking an alcoholic beverage with me.
Yeah,
which
you really have to force my hand.
I really had to do it. So I'll get into mine. Little tall boy, little
I didn't see that. What you got there?
So this is it's called a Golden Pheasant. It's a Slovakian beer. My wife's Czech, so I drink some Czech beer typically. It's called Czech Var, but they don't have it at the closest alcohol buying establishment to my household. So Slovakian beer will have to do. But cheers, my friend. Cheers to you guys. Cheers. Let's go. Let's get it. It's Friday night.
Good old fashioned Guinness Stout. So draft stout.
Guinness Stout, eh? Nice. You know that's not brewed in Ireland.
They say that. They say that it is, 1739, but
your version that you're drinking was not brewed in Ireland. I'll tell you that. Neither is the stuff we get in Canada.
What is it? Where does it go through? Is it Wisconsin? Where's it going?
I don't know. I mean, there's probably somewhere in the United States and somewhere in Canada that brews it. But the version that we get in Canada or North America, I should say, Canada and the United States, is not the same beer that they get in Ireland. Or
I've never been to Ireland. Have you been over there?
I've not. I would like to, I suppose. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I've been around England. So my wife, half of her side, half of her family, they're English, and so they're near York, up it's pretty far north there. So we used to visit. Actually, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and we're visiting the grandmother who now is retired to Sarasota, Florida. And she was the one who married the English side and had lived in England for 40 years of her life. And then she moved back. She can't go, coast to coast anymore. She's almost 90. So she's retired in Florida. She's from the States, but had lived there her whole life. So we used to go visit her in the last decade. I think I've been over there. Only 3 times, but 3 times is a lot of times to go across. But we had family, so we're going over for weddings. We're going over for any excuse, But I say all that because my father-in-law, he would double down, spend an extra week there, and do a whole trip, and go off over to Ireland and in Northern England, and he'd go to St. Andrews, and he'd go do golf trips and things. That was never really in my budget or my time. PTO, but
Pops wouldn't spring for you.
He does invite me, but it's it's a lot to swing to be over there for 2 whole weeks. So I would take advantage of it now, but it's you gotta take advantage of it in the moment because few and far between. We haven't been back over there since she retired, and that was the year of COVID. So that was it's been I have not been to Europe in this is my 6 years.
Damn. I've never been to Europe. My wife's been many times. Like I said, her parents, she's first generation Canadian. Her parents are both literally escaped communist Czechoslovakia at the time. It's a crazy story. Her dad's story is fucking would blow your mind. It is wild. It is wild. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Escaped a communist regime. It's a crazy story. But then my family, we could trace it all back to the first woodman that got off the boat in Rhode Island. And okay. I'm actually only 4th generation Canadian or something like that. My grandpa's dad or my grandpa's grandpa or something like that came up because land was so cheap in Canada. They're just giving it away. So it's oh shit, I can farm. Let's go up there and get some free land. So that's what happened. Nice. But we can trace my family back to the first woodman off the boat. We're super English. Obviously, Woodman is an extremely English name. If anybody doesn't know
the man who works with wood, the woodman.
Exactly. Yeah. Candyman. That's English, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Or whatever. All right, let's get into drafts. We could probably go all night with this chatter, but we got in the chat, we got Bindles, Candyman leaving a comment there. We got Stephen Hines, appreciate that. Yo says Mr. Mufasa, what's up, man? New collector. We got Who Hames in the house, Hartman's in here. Appreciate y'all popping in, drafting with us tonight. Let's jump into draft room quick. Let's get that going, and then we'll chat about some news, chop it up.
Hell yeah.
This is draft number 70 or not 70, whatever. 60 something.
You're getting some good volume in. I'm a little bit behind that because I've been splitting my time between the Albatross, the weekly battle royales for PGA, and then the little boards, the big boards, all that stuff. So I think in total, completely finished big boards plus little boards, I'm at like 50. And then in progress slows on little boards, big boards, and I have one bigger board going. I think I probably have, let's just say 10 going. So I'm about like, somewhere between 50 and 60 completed in progress. But at the same time, I've done, I don't even know, let's just say like 60 Albatross and probably close to 100 of the battle royales for PGA. So I'm just constantly drafting, but I feel like I'm pacing myself on the big board just to, it's fun. I love getting it in, and then just, trying to pace it in with all this news and things that are happening.
Yeah, you're a little bit like behind Phil, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah. I'll probably do 100 big boards, if that. I think last year I did 75.
Like total? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not a maxer? I guess you're doing, if you're doing the Albatross too, like you're getting.
I maxed the scramble. I maxed this a bunch of Pat Mayo contests on here, which I'm already getting advance rate payback from. So I just got a huge payday from advancing about 50% above expectation on the scramble, which was nice. And then, but yeah, generally I don't go too hard on the big board because I do go pretty hard during the post NFL draft stuff. And so I'm just kind of managing bankroll, you know how it is. I mean, last year was not a great year for me. I had some finals teams and tournaments that I don't remember the name of because I ended up just like kind of min cashing and nothing crazy. So my NFL season last year was, like most people's, not a huge success. And so
I trust you're good with Chase.
Yeah, 4. Of course. Yeah. I took with the 102 last night, actually.
Yeah. Earlier I was taking him at like 3. I literally had not picked second at all until like 2 days ago. I got picked 2 twice in the same day, took Gibbs both times. Those were my first 2 shares of Gibbs because I've never been 2, but I was taking Chase at 3, and then I got more than enough, and I'm like, fuck, now I can't get any Puka because I'm never these picks. I'm always down here. Anyways, what was I going to get at there? This season,
last night.
Go ahead.
I drafted 2 drafts last night, and I got the 102 in both of them. The first one, I take Bijan because Gibbs goes at the 101, which he now will do. He's going to flip Bijan. I'm seeing it in the day. Like, it's going to happen. It'll probably happen in the next, let's say by Monday, but it's happening. Every single draft Gibbs is going the 101 that I've seen. The second draft, Gibbs went the 101, and I had just taken Bijan. So I said, let's take Chase and build a Chase team. And honestly, I wish I had taken Bijan because at the end of the day, we didn't stack him with Burrow, and it felt okay, but the running back was a little bit weaker on this left-hand side of the board. I did like a thing with like Kyron in the 3rd and Swift in the 5th, but it just like, it's their top 2 running backs wasn't like, it wasn't so noteworthy. The Bijan team I did in the first one felt a little stronger.
Yeah, that's why like it's kind of feels better to go Puka or Bijan because then you can typically get Chase Brown. I mean, it's fine to take Chase with Chase, but it just feels
I say Chase
better.
Brown? I meant Joe Burrow.
No.
You like to stack them both?
No. I'm saying like to get the running back with Nakua or double tap running back, like it just feels better to have one of these 2 over Jamar Chase with 2 Bengals, like it's fine. It's and then you can bring in Joe Burrow, but it's just to consolidate one offense with your first 2 picks is just, I don't know.
100% agree.
I don't love it. So again, it's just it's easier getting, or it just feels better getting Chase Brown when you don't have Jamar Chase. You know what I mean?
Agree. Like, yes, no, of course, because, and I'm in on Chase Brown this year, but like, do I want him and Jamar Chase? Like, what are the odds that's what you need?
Yeah, I'm very
Oh,
in on them, but do you want to go
damn.
Bowers or
And
what are you
London
thinking?
goes, Neighbors goes.
Yeah. Or do you want to pull up one of these RBs? I'm not taking Pickens
Um,
at this price
I'm
tag.
I'm cool. I'm cool with going Bowers. Let's just say, hey, it's what we need. It's Bowers and Jamar Chase. Get a healthy Bowers. I'm in.
It feels good to get probably only 2 tight ends as well. Is what I'm basically
Yeah,
never
no
not
problem with
doing.
that.
So what I'm getting at is it gives you like a free pick, and that feels pretty fantastic. Gab life in the house. I love Chase Bengals this year. Been able to get too much exposure with randomly not getting 3-4 draft slots. I feel you, man. I'm not getting 2 at all or 3. I'm at the field on Bijan. I'm at the field on Jamar Chase. I'm well below the field in Gibbs and Puka. So I feel you. It's tough. It is what it is. You can only draft the spot that you're in. Just landed Burrow at 70 with Chase. Felt nice. Dang. Versus
What year is it? 2025, Who Hames? That sounds
right?
like something we were doing last year.
Right. Jeez, man. Good on you. Good on you. The
No,
Canuck
I'm
with all
jealous
the
about
luck.
that. No, it's
I don't
hard
know,
to beat
man.
that.
I do not have all the luck. I was just gonna say about Candyman talking about his year last year. I like Bucky here. I'm good with basically anyone. AJ Brown's a little iffy because he might get traded.
It's Bucky because
Yeah,
AJ Brown's rising. He's just passed T Mac and T Higgins and ADP in the last 2 days, but it's Bucky for us here so that we have a good anchor running back. I'm not out on Bucky. Last year was kind of an injury. Fluke, Rashad White's gone. Sean Tucker's gone. It'll be fine.
I'm super in on Bucky actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm in.
last year was my worst best ball season of my best ball career, unfortunately, which is really depressing. I got a lot of fades right. And so that really hurts. That really hurts. I faded Justin Jefferson. I faded Genty. I faded Bowers. I faded JJ McCarthy. Like I had great fades.
You had good takes. I recall your takes. I recall, but it's most of the years we're gonna lose, even if we do everything right. So I just kind of roll with the punches, and I expect that going forward. And then it does suck because really good process without a good result, it makes you question the process. But you just gotta stay strong. It was one slate, right? Every year is one slate. It's so complex, and we're still getting better every year. You said something there though. You're fading Jefferson last year.
Mhm.
What's your take on Jefferson this year?
Oh, I'm smashing now. I'm smashing this year. The price is just so much more palatable. Like he's going essentially to double the ADP away from last year. He was a top kind of 4 pick last year. People were taking him at the 1-1.
So you're
102.
assuming he gets a Kyler Murray or a somebody.
I thought, yeah, I assume it was somebody or JJ McCarthy takes a step forward. Like I hated JJ McCarthy as a rookie. He just was not a good. He's a rookie. Like let's be honest with it, people. Like everyone's just wants to anoint Kevin O'Connell as this whisperer, which he is. I'm okay with saying that. But JJ McCarthy was a rookie, and he wasn't a very efficient or stat friendly quarterback in college. So
Right.
how are we going to say this guy's never thrown over 300 passing attempts in college and he's going to come into the NFL and throw 600 times and give Justin Jefferson, 1,800 yards and double digit touchdowns? It's just not going to happen. And that was very correct of me. So I'm happy with that take. But again, it is what it is. It didn't really end up, making me any money, but you win some, you lose some. I like Terry here. I'm all right with any of this, really. Like,
so we got Bowers. Obviously Loveland's rising because of the whole news with DJ Moore gone. It's more palatable for that price. I think I'm cool to go McLaurin. I'm cool to go Adams or Egbuka. Obviously, we have Bucky already, so if you don't want to go Egbuka, just push him. I feel like I've not been able to get enough Egbuka so far this season as it is, but I still like him.
Yeah, it's an odd. Like I think Terry needs to rise above kind of all of these guys. I've been taking him at the back end of the beginning of the 4th over here. Realistically, like give me
going
Terry.
last year.
Yeah, and arguably, I would argue that it's a better situation this year, if I'm being honest. Like without the contract dispute, and hopefully,
Burden. So Burden's a huge riser too. I was curious if he might just fall back to us, but I didn't think it was realistic.
I'm all right with that. I like Odunze potentially more,
Sure,
but we
sure.
can take a look at that. But give me McLaurin over Rice. Give me McLaurin obviously over
Yeah,
JMO,
I'm fading Rice
Devonta.
right now. The whole situation's pretty not great.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
And
kind of
what
thinking
if
of
the
that.
Chiefs don't draft Jeremiah Love? What if they draft a wide receiver? It's just gonna muddy the picture, what's up, PPR? Is Rashi Rice that good, or is he a product of the system? Is it both? But the legal stuff is just ominous.
Wow, game tight double taps the Bears. I like that. Getting Loveland to fall to you at 48 is the
With the current news,
opposite.
I'm in. I'm back in on Loveland.
Oh, that's the
It
opposite
helps.
of a soft off right there. That's huge. Good on you. When Canadian streamer meetup, when are you going to come visit your lady friend's family out here?
So we could obviously
I
do
think Henderson
Travion.
is a smash here with us needing a running back. I think
Yeah,
there's
yeah. I
no
don't.
other discussion realistically,
I'm cool with
unless you
that.
can sell me
It's
on
just
something.
no. It's in the fifth round. One of my favorite picks at running back is Swift, but typically Travion's gone by that point. So I take a good amount of Swift, but Travion, the upside's really there, and I'm still in because I'm just all my teams I'm drafting for upside. I know that's kind of it's funny to say that because that's the goal in best ball. I think with Travion, we know that there's a lot of knowns. We already know he's splitting the work. We already know all of these things. There's a lot of other picks on the board where there's more unknown. For me, with both Travion and Swift, there's a lot of knowns that they're splitting the backfield to some extent, but they're probably the more exciting piece of the backfield. With Harvey, it just becomes who is that other piece that comes in? Last year it was Dobbins. Is there a piece that comes in that's potentially, you know, equal to Dobbins, or if we get someone that's not, and it's like lesser than Dobbins kind of touches and what he could do per carry, does Harvey's role increase? And then we see Montgomery going like he's been going up so high now that he's on the Texans, right? Like I've seen Montgomery. Where does he go in this one? That's like we're at pick 50 or so.
56, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
56. So that's really high.
McLaurin over Loveland and Burden. I mean, in this case, definitely over Loveland because we have Bowers. I think that'd be super aggressive to take Loveland, but yeah, McLaurin over Burden
We
for
thought
sure.
about Burden.
For
We
sure.
thought about. I mean, I was thinking about Burden. I was like, I wonder if he comes back. I think with the new news, so the Burden is being priced at almost at his ceiling. I would argue his
Absolute ceiling.
he
Like,
could smash, but he had one good game last week. Last year. It happened to be in week 17. He had an okay game in week 3. Burden is all projection. You really have to like connect the dots to get there, and it's already priced in at that price.
yeah, and I mean that's fine. Again, that's like you just mentioned. That's why and how we play this game. We play for upside. We play for projections. I get all that, but at the same time, like Terry is a much more known commodity, and I think that it's much more likely that he rebounds to what we know he is already, and is just
1,000 to
could
1,100
be.
yards, 8
Yeah,
touchdowns would be nice, and happens to spike when you need them.
yeah, and it's also let's make this pick, and I'll put a bow on that. I don't mind pulling up Parker Washington. We got Drake May there. I don't know if we need Caleb. We could do that to fuck over game tight. Tyler Warren, no. Bayshall, Warren.
I'm okay with like Marvin Harrison or DK or May if you just want to grab May, but
Let's do Marv. I don't
yeah.
have a ton of them, if I'm being honest. I don't mind that click at a little bit of a discount. I'm happy to get a little
As a
discount
wide
there.
receiver 3, when you're not really counting on him to do too much, you're just saying, hey, it could be a year 3 breakout. We've seen that happen with guys like JSN. We've seen it happen in the past. I want to invest in young wide receivers that are from good schools, wide receiver U, Ohio State, one of those in that category. And, real football people like have been hyped up on Marvin Harrison, and they're just waiting for him to really get there. The one question mark is who's obviously the quarterback for the Cardinals. People say, oh, it could be Malik Willis. Is that lower passing volume, and is that even worse for Marvin Harrison? And it's maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it could be, but I mean, I saw some stats recently where he was throwing the ball downfield, and was highly accurate. I don't mind this. We could do
Yeah, no,
May though. I'm okay with May.
um, I would. I mean, I know quarterbacks have moved up. I do like Jalen Warren here. I'm totally cool with Jalen Warren.
Okay.
Let's just do that.
Okay,
Sutton.
I'm all right with that.
I'm just not drafting a ton of Sutton this year.
It's
you
it's it, this is what you're getting. This is what you're getting. Max. This is ceiling. This is absolute ceiling. So again, what did we just talk about? We play this game for ceiling. We play this game for spike weeks for what we think we can get, and it's fine, I
I will
guess.
say there's a lot of comparables between Sutton and McLaurin based on age, air yards, production, all these things. When it comes to McLaurin, I want a piece. They're both good offenses. The Broncos are going to be a run first offense and led by their defense winning the games for them. The Commanders, I think, with a healthy Jaden Daniels, is a very dangerous, like fun offense that can just get to that next level, I think.
Not only that, Sutton is not getting double-digit touchdowns. He has not throughout his entire career. He is not going to this year. The offense with the Broncos is so spread out. It's just I'm not drafting any Broncos this year. None. Literally no Nicks, a little bit of Harvey if he falls, a bunch. I got him at 68 a couple nights ago, so I'll take him there.
I did too. I got him at 69 a couple nights ago. I thought it was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
not bad.
And even like Troy Franklin, what's his name? Pat Bryant. Like I'm not drafting any of these guys. Mims, like maybe if they fall a crazy amount, Jiri football made me take Pat Bryant the other day. Same time we got
some. It's
Harvey's
the same thing like with Burden. It's like, oh, Pat Bryant could be anything. He could even be, a serviceable receiver with more than one touchdown and more than 300 yards receiving, but which is what he was last year. And that's like what Burden was too, essentially. But, there's a lot of hype on certain guys. So going back, one thing I've been really looking into, because the hype around Kyler going to the Vikings seems to be pretty real. Earlier today, or it was yesterday, actually, I went back and looked at every single Kyler Murray season. He supports himself with his rushing, and he supports a workhorse running back that is either David Johnson or James Conner. He doesn't, the only wide receiver he ever supported in a real sense, and he played with Larry Fitzgerald in his decline. Let's make this pick. And I'll finish that point.
It's not a great spot. It's not a great spot. We could go.
We need a receiver. I mean, I'm cool with Addison or QJ's totally fine. Honestly, I don't really care. Worthy's fine. Any of these guys.
Let's do Worthy. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone with Worthy potentially.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I was really, really hoping Lawrence would fall to us there somehow.
Yeah, we kind of got in a bad spot with QBs. Who are the top QBs still available? If you just,
it's not amazing, and we
kind of got hammered at QB.
Yeah, we might have to do like a Goff or Love. Even Baker's fine.
I'm very in on Goff. I mean, he's got like 72 touchdowns passing over the last 2 seasons, something crazy like that, like a bunch. So there's always going to be, that.
This feels really nice to get 30 touchdowns average from your quarterback every year. It's just nice and safe. And we can think about backstacking potentially later. We could even bring in like a Malik Willis if we think he ends up with the Cardinals. That sucks to lose Goff there, but we could still do like Baker and Love.
Love's okay with me. We might as well do Baker though, because of the Bucky connection, right?
I'd rather do Baker anyways, if I'm being honest. So let's do Baker.
Love's kind of been a letdown ever since, what was that, like 3 years ago when he really was impressive. So finishing the thought on the Kyler thing, Kyler was able to support DeAndre Hopkins 1 year. Otherwise, he doesn't have any 1,000-yard receivers. His receivers like AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald over all the years, Christian Kirk, all great receivers. They all maxed out around 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins had 1 year over 1,000 yards. I think it was always James Conner getting 14 1,500 yards total from scrimmage, and 1 year he had 15 total touchdowns. So that's what the Cardinals were doing. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do. Do I think it's an upgrade for Justin Jefferson? Yes. And do I think Justin Jefferson is probably better than a declining Larry Fitzgerald? Definitely, better than even a peak DeAndre Hopkins or AJ Green. So I think there's still a bull case to be made for Justin Jefferson, but realistic. And Kyler spreads the ball around out. He's never thrown for 30 passing touchdowns. So there's not a whole lot to get. My concern with Justin Jefferson is if it really is going to be Kyler or JJ McCarthy. I'm curious how much above the expectation of what those quarterbacks can support can be, because he's such an outlier. Can he actually justify like going where he's going in the drafts, or is his realistic outcome more of like a back of the second round, like beginning of the third round, like Olave type of outcome?
I mean, yeah, this is wild. Like, I don't think at all that Kyler is a good fit for that offense. I really,
You're hoping it's somebody else.
Really do not. I am hoping it's somebody else. I'm hoping. I mean, it makes sense to bring back Kirk Cousins.
If it's Kirk Cousins, then anything can happen, because he could have a game where he throws for 380 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. He's getting older, so it's probably going to be few and far between. But I think he's the kind of pocket passer we would want for a prime Justin Jefferson bounce back.
I think that would make the most sense for the team. I think that would make the most sense for the offense. I just think it makes the most sense for them to do that. I don't mind Jennings here. I think
so our team's a 1-3-4-1 build. I'm just curious, with quarterback going the way it is, but maybe we can wait. Do
you want to just pull him up?
We don't have to. No. I think, and I do like getting another receiver. I like Jennings.
I like Jennings over the rest of these guys. But I saw a stat today, and many people probably saw this on the Twitter machine, about wide receivers, first or second round wide receivers, yards per route run against zone coverage. And it was basically a gigantic list of busts with Ricky Pearsall still in there. And 2 names that were in that list are these 2 wide receivers right here.
I saw that.
I'm lower than most on Casey Concepcion. I am not lower than most on Denzel Boston, but that was pretty concerning. I had a feeling Game Tight would do that to us. He's, I'm sure, in the chat, so I had a feeling he was going to do that. But that was concerning to me to see that about Denzel Boston, and I'm not going to lie.
I like Washington wide receivers. Historically, I've always kind of liked them as a program, and they've changed coaching. It's different than what it was when Penix was there, and it's evolved over the years. But I have liked some of their products. I do like KC just in general, but I think like this is a pretty dead zone. I'm not crazy about Darnold. I know we need a quarterback.
I think we have to take
Murray
Darnold.
Just went. I know it's getting ugly. I'm trying to think what's a better pick here. If there's anything else we'd want, like go Sadiq and be done at tight end, or
I think there's other tight ends down there, and we could even pair up Barner with Bowers, and that's fine. Like we only need.
I do like that. I like that idea, and maybe Torrey Horton later.
Yeah, sure. We can throw him on the list potentially, but I think it's prudent to take another quarterback here. I really, really do. We have to take.
It does get ugly quickly. My concern with Darnold is like, what is his best spike week going to look like? Because I've even drafted JSN teams this week where I end up intentionally not taking Darnold because I'm just kind of like, can he even get to like a 30-point game without a lot of hope that he's going to be having a rushing touchdown? I know it can happen, but what does it take for him to get to like 30 points? It's like 4 passing touchdowns, and he doesn't really like they run the ball so much. Their defense is so good. They don't really need him to ever do that. So I have a low expectation that it will happen very frequently, is I guess where I come at it with.
I think he can definitely get in the end zone more. We saw, it was only 200.
The passing yardage is pretty good, but it's just kind of, the combination of the lack of rushing production, and then good at a passer, but like he's never really forced into shootouts because the defense is so good and the run game has been pretty good too.
Yeah, you never know. You never know how much can change there. Like obviously the run game could completely
Ken Walker's
change.
gone. Charbonnet's hurt. Their run game could suck next year.
So I'm perfectly fine taking Sam Darnold. I know he's a capable quarterback. So
It is a
and
good
again,
range for quarterback. I will say that. And then on the Denzel Boston and Casey piece, I want to like them, but from a game theory perspective, this is a shit range for rookie wide receivers. Like this is the range. I know Burden was a little bit ahead of this last year, but like, and he only mattered for 1 week, and it happened to be week 17. So like, otherwise he sucked. This is a kind of a range where, to me in my head, it's like this is kind of an indication this is a dead zone for the rookie wide receivers. You might as well wait till the very end or get one of the more expensive ones.
I don't disagree, but I can push back on that pretty easily and poke holes in that. Is that it's pretty universal that Denzel Boston's probably a first round pick and potentially Casey
I've seen that.
Concepcion as well, right?
Right.
So we look at the top wide receivers: Lemon, Tyson, Tate. They're going 60s. Let's say pick 60 at the latest. So twice the ADP value on what
Right.
let's say 10 picks worth of actual NFL draft capital. So I mean, I think we just take Cal Ward and be done with it here. What are your thoughts?
I honestly have not been drafting a lot of Cam Ward. We can definitely backstack him. If you think the running backs are easy to like get a fourth running back with our next pick, I'm cool with just picking a QB here and then being done.
Yeah, I don't need any of these running backs at all.
No, Marks continues to fall. Dobbins, I don't really care that much. But if Dobbins goes to like Seattle, it's more interesting all of a sudden, right?
Not really. I hate Dobbins. I am not drafting Dobbins. He is dead to me.
He wasn't good for best ball last year, that's for sure.
He's not good for anything. He's not good for real life football when he's not on the field.
He's always
hurt. Often not on the field. So
you'd rather like pull up maybe Rachaad White
over a guy like Dobbins? Honestly, yeah. I mean, I still think
because we're about to. I mean, we're considering we could always take Emmett Johnson. We could always take Mike Washington. He goes. Yeah. Rachaad White's been getting some hype. Where did I see him getting hyped to today? It was
Commanders, probably.
Was it them? I'm trying to think. It was somewhere I
didn't expect. The Jags? I saw Jags.
Yes, it was the Jags. It was the Jags today.
Yeah, I think that's silly. I don't necessarily.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. But if he goes to the Jags, like he obviously is more of a veteran.
I'm good with either one.
Oh no, I cannot draft Kamara. No. Can't do it. I'll expand on that. So
I'm all right with Kamara a little bit. I think he
was outproduced by Devin Neal last year. He was outproduced by Audric Estime last year. He was outproduced by everyone that got an opportunity in that backfield except for him. Like he was the worst running back in that backfield. Fantasy points per touch, spike weeks, everything we care about for best ball. I can't see Kamara getting any better.
Which quarterback was he playing with?
He's playing with Rattler. But who's he going to be? I mean, is Shuck even that good?
Maybe not, but the team was much better down the stretch with Tyler Shuck. Literally won like 4 or 5 of their last 5 or 6 games.
Did they score a lot? I honestly don't know. Did they score a lot of points?
They won games. They were in games. They could continue to run the ball, right? So those guys had more opportunities than
last year.
Kamara did last year.
I was tracking the running backs week in and week out, and Kamara is lower than like he's so low on my list. It's terrible. 0.5 fantasy points per touch on a big sample size, 164 touches. Compare that to a guy like,
but it's not apples to apples. It's not apples to apples though.
Well, it's just to anyone. Like every other running back in the league was better than Kamara last year. And Kamara's a pass catcher, so you would assume there's higher value touches with his reception role, and it wasn't. He had 1 touchdown in 11 games. Like he was just so bad. And I loved Kamara, but that was, a decade ago.
I just think like I know that he wants to play football. I know he loves football. I know he wants to continue to play football. He may not be on the Saints with the restructuring that just happened today. It's possible that he's not on that team.
I kind of saw that too. If he's off the Saints, that's probably even worse, unless he goes to like the Chiefs. But then we've seen, that come and go and not actually be a good landing spot.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like I think this thought that I'm about to give is going under the radar a little bit as far as just the way that the league is going, becoming much more run heavy, and we're seeing it basically unfold before our eyes year after year after year. All of these running backs are going to get a shot at some point.
I have a question for you, and this is I'm on it. This is not bad faith.
I like
You would
this
take
pick here, by the
yeah,
way.
I really do.
That
We're
by the
at
way.
pick 164. I like Barner. He's a good red zone target. We saw it in the Super Bowl, the end zone fade. Like he's a good blocker. He's going to be on the field, stacked with Darnold. That's really fun.
What's your
I don't
question
mind.
though?
We'll get to it. I will pick this next
Okay.
pick too.
Okay.
I don't mind Spears. Tucker, I don't really care. Aaron Jones, okay with at this price. Not like thrilled, but it's okay. Vidal, I don't hate. Receivers, we could do DK because we get the stack there. He had a lot of all-purpose yards. I think he led all the rookies in all-purpose yards. DK, there's a little bit something to that. I know it was punt returns, not kick returns, whatever, but there's something there. I do think they potentially draft Tate in the first round, or they go Love, and that could be something different too. But maybe DK is kind of interesting. What's your thoughts on, do we need a running back or a wide receiver here?
I'm good with either one, but yeah, DK is one of my highest drafted players
Yeah,
in
okay, let's do
best
that then,
ball
because
right now.
I have some faith that he's a little bit electric and can surprise to the upside, and he's very
Well,
cheap.
the bigger concern is that Wan'Dale Robinson signs there, which is very live and
Sure.
on the table. But I still think that there
I
is.
saw you tweet that today, actually. You tweeted the Wandale propaganda.
No, I didn't. No.
I thought you did. Didn't you respond? I thought you did. Somebody put the Wandale idea to the Titans in my head today. I swear it was you on Twitter. Maybe it wasn't.
No, no, it wasn't me. We'll go DK here. I like
Yeah, let's
going
grab
that
him.
route. No, it wasn't me, but that because I'm heavily a DK investor and buyer. I what I've been saying, because it was Ayumanor or DK, it was kind of the choice
Yeah.
you had to make, and I think the right one rose and the right one fell. I just think that Ayumanor's skill set is highly replaceable, both in free agency and the draft, and DK's skill set is extremely difficult to replace. And he's again, even if Wan'Dale comes and plays the slot, DK is still going to have a role as a deep threat, as a spike week guy. So give me DK. I'm okay with that. Dark Side likes Kamara. I don't mind Kamara.
No, he's the worst pick on the board. Not gonna lie, I'm typing that right now. And okay, this is not a bad faith question.
Okay,
I'm serious. Why would anyone draft Kamara over Kareem Hunt?
because Kareem Hunt was only a good running back in his career, basically as a rookie. Like Kareem Hunt was not a good running back.
9 touchdowns last season. Kamara had 1.
I get all that. Again,
EPA.
It's not apples to apples.
You
you can't look at last year and say that's what's going to happen, or because that happened, that means that he's a better pick this year. Though they're not apples to apples.
He's
conversation,
free though. He's
right?
completely free.
Well, he's completely not on a team either. So Kamara's on a team right now.
He could go back to the Chiefs.
But
he could end up in a good situation. The Seahawks are still available.
Do you honestly think that
I don't think the Seahawks go for him? If he was
on
a
football team, period. Do you actually think he's on a football team? Yeah.
He led the NFL in EPA per rush last season. He was the best running back in that metric. He also was the best at converting 3rd and 4th downs among every single running back. He had 9 touchdowns. He had over 700 yards. He is a top 8 free agent running back, according to The Athletic. Like, he's getting completely slept on. I'm not even a Kareem Hunt fan anymore. It's been a long time. But if we're talking dusty running backs, what has Kamara done lately?
I mean, yeah, it was a little bit of an off year, but who can get that pass game value, right? Give me Kamara every day of the week. With Kareem Hunt, it's like if you need 2 yards, he'll give you 2 yards. If you need 3 yards, he'll give you
Touchdowns.
2 yards.
Kareem Hunt had a higher spike week than Justin Jefferson last season. Think about that.
We could do that.
He had 2 higher, actually. No, let's go Horton. Horton's a fun pick. I mean, you liked Horton originally, like from
no, I didn't actually. I was a little.
Oh, you didn't really?
One. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't have to go
last year. No, I'm good with him. There's no one else on the roster, so
Exactly. But for the reason that DK is kind of fun and could have a year two breakout, Horton does some similar things where like I think he was the punt returner as well. And like he had some big plays and contributes. I want guys that contribute and are a part of the team's like game plan. I think DK could be that. I think Horton could be that.
I want guys that get 5 touchdowns on 13 catches. That's
also pretty insane. The only guy that even comes close to that is Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. And Yoshi Voss once upon a time, not quite last year, but he was that guy for a little bit. It's the 17th round. We have a free pick. It's the 17th round. Therefore, we're taking Jeremy Bernard. I'm not entertaining any pushback.
Well, how many receivers do we have? We have 7.
This will be 8. So we can do the rest running back. Yeah. 3 more running backs.
I like getting the 8th receiver here and then being done. It is kind of like flat after this, and it doesn't like it's just kind of a bunch of picks. Running back's kind of in a similar spot too, though, where it like do you have like your favorite picks once it gets? I call it the Ray Davis line because I take too much Ray Davis because he just is like a quality handcuff that I believe in as a prospect. I know he didn't do a lot last year and the whole Ty Johnson thing, but just being attached to the Bills has some value.
I just think there's a lot of like straight up kind of handcuff picks down here, which is fine. Like you said, that is Ray
I like
Davis.
Devin Neal for that reason.
There's even Najee.
I don't mind Najee.
Still has some value.
So
there.
with Brashard Smith, if they signed Aaron Jones, is Brashard Smith dead?
No, I definitely not. And I don't think Aaron Jones makes any sense for the Chiefs. The guy I think that makes the most sense for the Chiefs, and it would actually be just completely fine for Brashard Smith, would be Tyler Algier or Najee. I think Najee's on the table for them. I think Dowdle would be like honestly the best option outside of if they want to go with ETN. What I will say about the Chiefs is I do not think that they like put all their eggs in the Jeremiah Love being there at pick number 9 basket. That makes no sense to go down that road if you're them. And I don't think they do that. So I think they absolutely sign a free agent. Now, who that is, they've obviously been tied to Walker as well. And even Kenny Walker isn't like a bad run out for Brashard Smith. So there's a lot of positive runouts for Brashard Smith to still carry some value into this year. So I think he's still an okay click. I don't want to like go overweight on him or anything like that. But either way, there's lots of decent kind of options down here. There's a lot of fool's gold, I feel like, too. Even Emmanuel Wilson, Caleb Johnson, potentially. Jaden Blue might be that guy, too, although I think he's an okay click, if I'm being honest. But Algier is $5 million projected. Give me a break.
The Athletic says
who says $5
million. That's what it currently is online.
Oh, I do not.
Does Algier get more than that?
Accurate. Yes.
He's certainly a way more than. He's never going to be a starter. He's a straight up backup.
He's been a starter and he was very good.
He didn't do anything. Role. He wasn't a top 25 running back in the league. He was number 27.5 PPR. He wasn't that good.
But he didn't even start the whole season number 1. And you got to stop like quoting 5 years ago stats saying that like that's a reason why he's not going to be good in.
Never caught 20 passes in a season. I'd have to look at that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, that's fine though. We don't need that in best ball.
We like touchdowns. His best touchdown season was last season. He had 8. So he had a career high 8 touchdowns last season. We're buying high on the Algier hype. He was never good.
I disagree with that.
Damian Pierce was good at one point too. He fell off.
I like Brashard Smith here. I think he's okay. We could go Jaden Blue. Caleb is kind of dead to me. Emmanuel Wilson's kind of dead to me.
Do you like Claiborne at all?
Not really, but we could take him.
I don't know. He was really fast. I know the size thing. He's the exact same size as Devin Achane, but Achane was way more productive, played in the SEC, all the good things. Claiborne being fast, though, to me was pretty interesting. I know that Smith and Blue are fast too, but they, didn't show a whole lot as rookies, at least as a mystery box there.
If Claiborne ran even like high 4.4s, it would have been bad news bears for Claiborne.
Wasn't it a 4.37 or something? It was like
no, it was. I'm saying if he ran slow, like if he ran a high 4.4s, it would have been he's dead essentially. That's basically he had to run fast, and he did, and that's fine. That's good. He just there was no other like out for him, essentially, in my opinion. But we'll see. I just Wake Forest guys are always an interesting one. I'm okay with any of these guys. I actually like LaQuint Allen a lot. I'm okay to pull him up if you want to do
I haven't
that.
drafted him yet, but I've seen him getting drafted.
Do you want to do Burchard?
I don't mind that. Yeah, I've drafted some Burchard.
Let's do LaQuint then. You seem more convicted there. Plus, we have Worthy, so let's do LaQuint Allen. I think there's outs for
the thing with
LaQuint Allen.
LaQuint was interesting is if the Jags don't bring someone in and it's just Tootin and LaQuint, then he does kind of project nicely.
Yeah, he's the better. Well, last year he was the best pass blocking running back in the NFL draft. That's encouraging to me to get him on the field, and he did out touch Tootin last year, mostly because he's a better pass blocker. So I don't buy into that. People are, quoting that like he's going to be the starter over Tootin if that were the case, and I don't necessarily think that that's true. So I think he would definitely get his touches and definitely get his work if it was just the two of them, but we'll see how that works out. I think he's a fine click is what I'm getting at. I think it's more likely that they would touch on it somewhere in the draft than in free agency. I think there's bigger fish to fry on that Jacksonville team than running back personally. Yeah, that would be nice. I think that makes sense. A couple guys are in on it. Algier, first Falcon to run 1,000 yards as a rookie. His agent said $8 million. That's starter money. Najee to KC. I think Najee to KC makes some sense. I think they're definitely
that would be
in
interesting
a vet
too.
That's what I've been saying all draft season is Najee, Dowdle. I didn't think like what's weird about the Kenny Walker thing is like, what was it like a week ago that they were saying they would only be spending roughly about $8 million on a running back. And then Kenny Walker's rumored to get 12 to 14 mil. And then now this week, like the Chiefs are the front runners to draft Kenny Walker or to sign Kenny Walker. And it's like, that doesn't add up. Like what
the thing I'll say, like, and knowing how this happens every year, like what the teams say, what the agents say, it's all smoke screens, right? It's always just
for sure.
Everyone's a salesman, and
yeah,
we'll see.
Those are definitely true statements, but yeah, the more interesting one is like the Jordan Love kind of fodder as far as draft is concerned. There's just clearly teams that are trying to trade down. Smith we could do blue. It's kind of fun.
I'm okay doing blue. I haven't done it a whole lot yet. I was way overweight to blue last year and it burned me, but I'm okay to go back to that and try again.
It's a complete lottery ticket that he had a good week 18, was it? Or week 17?
Did he? I didn't have him having any good weeks, but I purposefully don't include week 18 or any of the playoffs in my database. I just have weeks 1 to 17.
Yeah, he had like 18 carries, 60 something yards and a touchdown. Looked pretty good. So
memory wiped. Week 18 is gone. We're moving forward. Blue burned me so hard in the season. I had like 20% blue.
Oof. That was aggressive. You're a Texas guy though, so
and that's how it happens.
Same thing with Matthew Golden, They burnt you. The Texas guys burnt you.
They did nothing last year.
Good thing there's not a lot of Texas players coming out this year that really matter.
Yeah. There's injuries, the tight end, that's pretty deep. That's a deep cut. It's more of a dynasty play, and even then it's like whatever. But
next year's draft should be a big one for your guys.
Well, actually, Jonathan Brooks is a guy I'm drafting a little bit of just to say what if, because he's been so snake bitten with injuries.
We could kind of chat about that too, actually, quickly, because he's risen, and I just like now he's a kind of tough click for me.
He's expensive. He should be going like round 18 or like 17. But I don't understand.
Kind of where he was when it opened, though. Like when it opened, that's where he was going. Which
I don't understand why he's moving up so high. Other than, because I honestly think the Panthers could also bring someone in.
or draft, or they just
Sure.
like, or he gets hurt again, or they just like Trevor
He gets
Etienne
hurt
more.
again. Don't say that.
Well, it's pretty live, right? So I'm rooting for him. Honestly, I am. Like, you got to root for a guy like that. Supposedly, he's the hardest working player on the team, and that's coming from Chuba Hubbard, who's a hard worker himself. So, and his competition. So that you know is pretty good. Pretty good endorsement there. But let's roll through the team. You want to rip another one, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure.
So 3782 is what we finished at. Baker, Darnold, Cam Ward. I think that'll work. We kind of paper mache it together. I think it works. Bucky paired
Game
with
theory wise, it's
Baker.
good. Just go for cheap QBs. That's technically what wins.
Yeah, just hammer this range right here. 9 through 12. What did I don't know if you remember us talking before the best ball or the big board opened, looking at last
Yeah,
year's Best Ball Mania. In Best Ball Mania, draft
I have it
quarterbacks
right
rounds
here.
8 through 12. You will win Best Ball Mania.
That's
So
the key.
it's 100% fact. That's basically what we just did. So we're going to win the big board. Um,
Yeah,
I
last
actually,
year, literally, the winning Best Ball Mania team goes Purdy in 9, and then Young in 13, and then Shuck in 15. So 9, 13, 15, like, is not too late. So it feels gross when you do it, but I mean, Purdy was, when he finally came back, was a dog last year.
that's what won him $2 million was Brock
Exactly.
Purdy. So Bucky Irvin, Travion Henderson, Jalen Warren, Rashad White, Claiborne, Allen, and Blue. I actually think we could have got away with 6, even, to be honest with you. This top 4 is not that bad, but it's
It
okay.
isn't. We ended up going 2 tight ends, so we had an extra spot, right? And just dart throws.
Yeah. And when we get Jamar Chase and McLaurin, even you could throw Harrison, I suppose, into that conversation, then it feels good at wide receiver, especially just with the top 2 realistically. And then we got some spike week value with Worthy, with DK, hopefully with Horton. Jeremy Bernard's just the fucking dude. So there's that. Juwan Jennings, I actually think that Seattle or Washington are the 2 spots that I would look at if I'm drafting Juwan Jennings. So Seattle would be nice for us, but we'll see how that works out. Or Tennessee could make sense for him too, actually.
I have no idea where Dewan Jennings ends up. I feel though that it'd be best if he could find his way back to San Francisco. I don't know how likely that is or if it's even possible anymore, but I feel like that was like some chemistry that I'd rather see continue. And it's a lot of risk if he goes somewhere else that it's hard to replicate that. It was such a good offense to be a part of, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's other factors at play there, just as far as like the Trent Williams contract. So
Mm,
it could get a little just dicey as far as that's concerned, because we know money's an issue going off of last year and the year before, where he asked for a raise 2 consecutive seasons. So we'll see how that plays out. But either way, Jennings he's the best blocking running or wide receiver in the NFL. So he's gonna get on the field.
yeah, no,
Especially,
that keeps him on the field.
yeah.
And he has had a surprising number of spike weeks and big touchdowns. I mean, 2 years ago, he had that 43-point game. That was insane.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was. It was early in the season, but I mean, it only takes one of those at the right time to just be a huge smash in this tournament.
Definitely. Then we got Bowers and Barner. That's perfectly fine. I actually really like this team. Solid squad. I think this is
Very balanced too.
yeah.
Like I know we talked about the late QB, but I think there is a little secret sauce to going with like a Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, where we've seen it with Etienne and Lawrence. We've like the running backs who can catch passes, and maybe just they do it one time a year, but when they catch those 2 touchdown passes from the quarterback, you want that stack. So I have been not forcing it, but anytime I get a stack with the QB and the running back, I'm actually pretty happy about it.
Yeah, there's only a few where it makes like realistic sense. So like I think when you pick your battles that way, it
Yeah.
does make a lot of sense if you ask me. Like Cook, McCaffrey, Gibbs, Bijan's fine, Chase Brown, Genty even I think could be okay. Yeah, all those types of guys, Henderson, even like you said, Bucky is obviously in that conversation. Swift could be in that conversation. It's yeah. The other guys you might have to luck out. Dowdle could be that, but we don't know where he's going. Rashad White could be that. We don't know where he's going. But yeah, I agree with that kind of take in a vacuum, in a nutshell. Even Spears is a poor man's version of all that. So Jones potentially. But yeah, I agree with that, because if you're the only one with that stack in the finals, you won, most likely. Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison, Xavier Worthy, Juwan Jennings, DK, Horton, Bernard. I really like that actually a lot. I think that's a very strong wide receiver room. Maybe even could have got away with only 7, but anytime you're in the 17th round, you pick Jeremy Bernard, Bowers, Barner, good team. Let's
I have a fun, and this is related to what we were just talking about. I'm going to name 6 running backs, and anyone in the chat or Cody, first one to guess what these 6 running backs have in common. It's very related to what we were just talking about. Okay, it's Ashton Genty, Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and Kenneth Gainwell. What did these 6 running backs all do last year? What do they all have?
I'm going to guess that they all caught 2 touchdown passes in one game.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, teed it up for you. Etienne had a game with 3 touchdown receptions in one game.
Yeah.
And that was it was week 15. So remember that. So McCaffrey had 2 in week 16. Chase Brown had 2 in week 16. But it is very rare. But when it happens, like, that can be super powerful. And only a few running backs can really do it. And it happened only 6 times last year across weeks 1 through 17. But I mean, that's not nothing.
The other beauty thing about that conversation right there is another thing that those running backs have in common is they're on the field always. Mm-hmm. So like that feels really good from a roster construction standpoint. And that's basically the biggest thing. When you're constructing your roster and you have those guys that are basically popping into your lineup pretty much every week anyways, then it feels really good to have that happen. Do you want to go Gibbs here? I need way more Gibbs, so I'd love to go Gibbs at 1. We drew the industry 1-1, by the way.
I haven't had the 101 in a long time, and it's crazy that now it's Gibbs, and I don't think it's bad, but it just, to me, we rarely see the 101 change during a draft season. It's usually the same 101 from start to finish.
It's probably been like 2 years maybe since that was a thing, because there was the year, I think it was like just Jefferson and Chase.
Yeah, and people had preferences there, but the ADP was pretty consistently Chase, I think. But now it's like Gibbs will take ADP ahead of Bijan, like either Monday or Wednesday next week. It's just going to progressively happen. Like, it's already trending that way. Bijan, I have it here on my tracking sheet. I'll pull it up. So Bijan's ADP on Monday was 1.1. As of today, it's 1.5. Gibbs went from the 2.2 to the 1.8. So they are going to cross in the next 3 to 5 days. Like, it will happen.
Yeah, for me to get the 2 spot for my first 2 times the other day and get Gibbs both times was amazing. I do want to touch quickly. Al Boogie's asking a question here. Thoughts on Mendoza, Coach?
I didn't see this.
We didn't really go over it, but they want to bring him along slowly. Likely vet starting. I mean,
oh, actually, I did see this. I retweeted it.
Like, yeah, sure. Maybe that happens for 2 weeks. I think that's potentially the maximum amount of time that
Mendoza is so good. Dude.
Mendoza.
No one's going to be able to keep him off the field.
That's the thing. Like, he's ready to play. Like, if you watch his tape, like I think I'm not famous, but like I was saying last year, none of those quarterbacks are ready to start. And I think that was correct. We saw Cam Ward come along at the end of the season. He started to look good. That's fine. Jackson Dart got there a bunch with his rushing ability. So maybe you could say I was wrong there. Sure. But he was also an injury factory and whatever. But this year, like, Mendoza is ready to go. If you ask me, looking at his tape, watching what he can do, his leadership abilities, he's the dude. He can start week 1. I think from watching, I'm drafting Mendoza. I was drafting 0 rookie running backs last year, 0. So I'm drafting Mendoza. I'll say that. Quick. We'll get some housekeeping out of the way. Hit that like button for us, guys. I think there's about 50 people watching, a little more maybe on the Twitter machine. Hit that like button if you don't mind. Appreciate that. It's free. Takes 2 seconds. Just a quick with your mouse. If you like the content, you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You see the subscriber goal down there. We got the Candyman joining us tonight. His channel is linked in the description down there. Just click that. Again, 2 more clicks. Click, subscribe over there. Help us out. That's all I'll probably do for tonight. I don't typically ask a crazy amount. Usually once a stream, I say, hey, smack the like button for me. So appreciate that. Let's keep chatting ball.
Hell yeah. Support the channel. Make sure you like. Make sure you're subscribed. Great content from Cody. Always fun talking ball. Be here. And I love it because like Cody and I, we always like kind of line up. We have similar schedules. We find each other like it was 2 years ago. We were in the same draft room, like almost
like once a day. Like,
it felt like it was a lot.
For like a week. For like a week, it was like once a day.
We were always in the same schedule. So okay, so here, at the second round, third round turn.
I'll say it's a lot more friends and family draft, even though the other one I think was too. But this we might have to just kind of keep it close to the chest.
I've got some ideas. We'll see. Because obviously you can go like 2 receivers, you can go another running back and really try to have like a strong RB start. To me, it comes back to round 4 and 5. And like, what do you like there?
I kind of have an idea on that. Do you want to like do one of each? We can do Kenny Walker this time if you want to do that. And then
I'm moving more out on Kenneth Walker. I think I definitely want to start Pickens.
Oh, I'm not drafting Pickens.
No, do Pickens or Olave. Just do Olave then.
Well, we're too late now. We can do Olave now. And then we got Bucky.
Why do you hate
that? I just think it's going to be so difficult for him to pay off this ADP, unless
compared to I will say like him compared to CeeDee Lamb's ADP.
Yeah, give me CeeDee Lamb.
Pickens is better.
Maybe. That's a hard maybe.
CeeDee Lamb peaked. He's now still very good.
Don't quote last year's stats.
Pickens is on the rise. He's the younger one. He has more ahead of him. He's the big play waiting to happen. Pickens was better in every game last year than CD.
The stuff with Pickens is not about like things you can read. Like it's all the other stuff that worry me about Pickens. Number one, we know how he has tended to react and act as a player and potentially a person with another team and even with this franchise. We saw him quit. There's a threat of him
holding out for sure.
We saw him quit on plays multiple times last year for this team, for this quarterback, for this coaching staff, all that kind of stuff. Number two, he can absolutely hold out. Like that's the biggest concern is he's essentially, in my opinion, leaving minimum $6 million on the table if he signs the tag, right? That's the other thing. They can't do a goddamn thing to George Pickens until he either signs that tag or it's basically week 10 of this year. The Cowboys can't force him to do shit. They can't fine him. They can't do anything until he signs that tag basically until he signs that tag because he has up until week 10 to sign that tag. That's my big concern. The other thing is like, how are they going to be able to afford him? They can do it. They absolutely can do it, but will they? They've already taken some steps, but they've already had all this conversation. But I mean, they said this a few years ago when they said we're going all in free agency and they did absolutely nothing. They've said that they're going to be big spenders in the free agency, which again, like I did a whole spiel about this a couple, actually it was just on Wednesday with Jerry Football. I think the Cowboys can absolutely potentially compete to win the Super Bowl this year. If they do what they have the ability to do. If Jerry Jones pulls out his checkbook and writes another, because he already spent about $50 million cash money, he just handed over to 3 players. If he does that again to the tune of about 30, which he can do with Kenny Clark's contract, with Quinton Williams' contract, he can probably clear another about $30 million, but that's going to come right out of his bank account, which again, don't cry for Jerry Jones. He can absolutely make that happen. But will he do that? Then he could sign George Pickens to a lucrative 33 roughly $1 million contract, AAV, which gets him above DK Metcalf, right below CeeDee Lamb, which is where I think he should fall. That's the only way I see him paying off that ADP, is if you get him into camp. So if they don't get him into camp, well, if he sits out until basically week 1, there's almost no way. Even if George Pickens plays on the tag, if he signs it before week 1 and he plays on the tag, I guarantee there is no way in this world he pays off that ADP. No way in this or any other world he pays off that ADP. You're not going to go to draft Pickens ultimate veto. 100% not happen. He gives up on plays, CD all day. Like, it's just
one of the best environments in the NFL for a wide receiver, and he is their best wide receiver. He's better than CeeDee Lamb.
Let's get some picks out of the way here. I like pulling up Odunze here. I'm okay with that. We could do.
So you're out on Zay Flowers, because we might be able to get Zay and then Lamar on the way back would be kind of fun.
Well, we just have.
Well, we have both picks. I guess I was thinking we were still at the 2 spot. Because the question is, do we want that though, or do we want to actually take another receiver? Because I think Zay here is totally fine, and I usually don't get Zay. He usually doesn't make it all the way across to this spot.
I do like getting that value. I mean,
the value, but then it's like even without the stack.
We could just do
either Odunze or Buka.
My biggest thing is like how often, and this is something I was going to say with your JSN take with Darnold, like how often is Zay paired with Lamar Jackson and Darnold paired with JSN? Like almost always, I think, because of where their ADPs line up. Like, I think it's
does Lamar make it back usually in the to pick 50? So Zay usually goes kind of like, what is that, like 40?
Zay's ADP is 41. Lamar's ADP is 55. So
it's close enough. So they're stacking maybe a quarter of the time.
I think more than that. Even.
I don't have I probably have 0 Zay Flowers Lamar stacks through my first 50 or so drafts. I don't think I've gotten it once.
I've got a couple, but I'm not particularly drafting Lamar at this ADP. I don't love it, if I'm being honest. I think there's just a lot of comparable quarterbacks. It's the cheapest
Lamar we've ever gotten, though.
I don't disagree, but I think quarterbacks are all they're not all cheap. They're all expensive, actually. But I just think with Jaden Daniels, where he goes, and even you could make an argument of Hurts being where he goes. And then this pocket here of Herbert, Dak, Dart, Lawrence, I don't know. And with a defensive, not that John Harbaugh was an offensive coach by any means, but defensive coach coming in, I don't know. I don't love. And Jackson's another year older, 30 years old now. His rushing upside has kind of, I feel slowed down. Mostly just because of last season, but obviously he was hurt. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't love Lamar Jackson's price. I really don't, mostly because of the quarterbacks that go after him.
Mm-hmm. It's an expensive place to take quarterbacks. We haven't seen an elite QB ever win a big tournament.
Never. So even a 3rd round Josh Allen is still it's fine.
Never won. Yeah,
it's never won. It's never
won any of the turn. I don't think there's ever been an elite QB that's ever won any of the tournaments at any size. The 2,000 person tournaments, the 10,000, the 100,000. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's somewhere where it's happened and I haven't seen it, but I don't think you are. From a structural standpoint, it's the middle and late quarterbacks that always pay off.
Yes. So again, I'm not paying, especially on a guy that I just don't believe in. I just don't believe in him, if I'm being honest, this year. I've always liked Lamar. I just don't believe in him.
I like Lamar too. Season long, give me Lamar, if I'm trying to compete against my home league guys. But the opportunity cost there of taking Lamar over Odunze is pretty significant because when it comes back around to us, it's the pairings. Do you rather have Odunze with whoever we get, as our next quarterback, or the opposite, that Lamar with that wide receiver that's 3 rounds or 2 rounds later?
Well, Caleb falls to the 6-7 turn all the time. So would you rather have a Dunze and Caleb or Lamar and Pearsall?
No, I would never draft Pearsall. He fucking sucks.
Well, I'm just giving an example here. You could use
No, I'm sorry.
Michael Wilson or
Pearsall's I'd say Kamara's the worst pick on the board. Pearsall's definitely the worst pick on the board.
I disagree. I think Pearsall has some value, though he was on that list from earlier
He's
today,
terrible.
and that was a little concerning. We could go Jalen Hurts here. I don't mind Bayshall. I know you don't like Pearsall, but I don't mind him. We could go Tyler Warren. What are your thoughts? We could bring up a quarterback, which isn't a bad idea.
Who do we need? A quarterback's fine if we want to start there. Hurts is totally fine. Him or Herbert.
Let's do Hurts because I haven't drafted him a lot.
It's the cheapest we've been able to get Hurts since he's ever been an active starting quarterback, and it's not so expensive.
We could do DJ Moore if we want, which is kind of ugly.
What pick are we at? I mean, DJ Moore, I think he even goes ahead of this in the future. I'm cool with DJ Moore there.
Let's do Bayshall.
I'm okay with Bayshall. The projection on him is huge, but at the same time, I mean, if it has to be that Etienne's gone and that Bayshall is their top running back for him to pay off here, right? And if he is that, he's gonna pay off there most likely because it's not a ridiculous price.
More or less, I just think it's more prudent to take a running back when I feel pretty okay with these 3 wide receivers, and I just genuinely think you can always catch up at wide receiver. And then this gives us some flexibility to maybe stop at 5. Definitely 6, obviously, but maybe stop at 5 depending on the other 2 guys we get. But Michael Smith likes Sticky Ricky. Kevin Woodward doesn't take much Pickens either, but hard to be totally out on a guy like that. I get it. It's just it's the tag situation that has me super concerned, and what I know about George Pickens kind of as a player. I just think, and again, it's the biggest thing that I'd like to, the biggest thing I like to preach about drafting best ball, especially the big board, is it's similar to DFS in that we cannot chase last week's or last year's stats, and we cannot just draft guys at their absolute ceiling. I just think that that's bad business for the most part. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it works out. This might be the ceiling for Bayshall Tootin, right? So you take your shots. Obviously, different cost comparison there, obviously. But I think this ADP is basically the absolute ceiling for Pickens. I mean, you could definitely argue the first round would be the ceiling for Pickens based off of last year's stats, but it's I don't know. I just think it's very, very, very difficult for him to pay off that ADP. Very difficult. And it's going to come down to the Cowboys, or it's going to come down to Jerry Jones, realistically, is kind of how I feel about it. That's my big concern, is him playing on the tag, period. If he plays on the tag, period, I don't like it. I don't like it. When's the last wide receiver that played on the franchise tag that really worked out? The last time I can remember really a big time kind of receiver playing on the tag was T. Higgins. And that was this year, I believe. Or was it this year? I don't remember 100%.
I don't remember exactly for T. Yeah.
But it just gets me super leery. Another thing I like to talk about with playing on the tag is we know that NFL players play hurt all the time. And there's a big difference between hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? You can play hurt. You can't play injured. And if you're sitting there on the tag, what incentive do you have to play hurt? None. Why would you? You're not risking shit. So it's just a huge concern to me. And I thought T. Higgins was 2024. That makes sense. But he missed 4 games at least that year. So that's just, I don't know. That's my big concern about any player playing on the tag, but wide receivers specifically.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. We have 2 picks here. Obviously, we could do Purdy. We do have Gibbs. Would be interested in going Laporta and Golf double tap. I either way, I do really like Purdy. So if we're
I
thinking
kind
we
of like
might go
that.
Laporta, do we double stack it? Um, you know,
I kind of like that. Let's buy into this team bouncing all the way back.
just go like full bore on the Lions, and they're always a good place to be for fantasy.
I think this
There's some
leaves the door.
changes. Petzing's there.
Yeah,
There's some changes, but they've been pretty consistent.
I think this leaves the door open to stop at 2 quarterbacks potentially. Leaves the door open. It's ajar. With us being
Yeah,
on the turn, like
right.
it gets more difficult to have quarterbacks kind of fall in your lap a little bit. So I like having that door ajar that we potentially could stop at 2.
And I think from a quality and a draft capital perspective, like 2 makes sense for sure. Um, where I come back is if somebody gifts us a later quarterback at a value that we're very confident will be starting games, there's just that factor of they're going to be covering the bye weeks at least twice for us. Worst case scenario, they cover when Hurts and Golf are on the exact same bye. I have no idea what the schedule is going to be. But that could still happen. And then also just the injury risk. Hurts misses 1 game with a sprained ankle. It happens to be Golf's bye week. We get like a 15 points from a Bryce Young or a Cam Ward, and it really does just stop us from getting a pure 0 at the quarterback for a week. So I just think of things like that, which it could be the difference between getting second and third in a pod. It doesn't have to be, because hopefully you're winning your pod enough that you separate. But I do start to think about things like that in 20 rounds, where the value of like a 19th or 20 round receiver or running back could, or even tight end, could just be completely like they never hit your lineup a single time all season.
Yeah, I don't hate that kind of take. Again, just having that flexibility. Anytime you can have flexibility in the draft room, I think it just is very comforting. It's very, very, very comforting to have flexibility like that. And another thing I like about doing what we did with this whole Lions situation is we're not stacking Jalen Hurts unless we luck box into it, which maybe we do, maybe we don't.
Yeah.
But we're not stacking Jalen Hurts whatsoever. So in those cases, and I've been preaching pretty hard that I'm not focusing on stacking. Like it's there, it's in my head. I am when it makes sense, but only if it makes sense and if it lines up. I'm not pulling guys up a crazy amount. If it's like 2 picks, yeah, sure. Or if they fall into my lap, sure, absolutely. If it makes sense. I'm also not tacking on like I saw someone drafted Jatavian Sanders because they had Bryce Young. That's never I'm not doing that. So stuff
I
like
wouldn't
that
go
that
there. Yeah.
I'm just I'm not forcing any stacking whatsoever. But if I am gonna like double stack something like that, I'm doing it when I'm not stacking at all the other quarterback. So I do it with like Josh Allen too, because I don't think you have to stack Josh Allen whatsoever if you take him. If you get like a round and a half of value on Kincaid, then okay, cool. But either way,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm doing is like I'll buy in that yeah, okay, stacking potentially matters. I'm okay with agreeing with that, but I don't think you need to double triple stack 2 3 quarterbacks and then just like have your team completely rely on these, consolidated offenses. I just don't think that that's prudent business this year. Actually maybe
Receivers
it's
in this
not any year,
range.
but
Yeah, receivers in this range, because I think we're pretty solid with our 2 stud running backs, upside with Tootin. It would just be good to get some depth at receiver. Do you have some favorite picks in this range where right now it's pretty up in the air? I mean,
I kind of despise this range if I'm being honest.
yeah,
Like Higgins is okay, Concepcion could be fine. I don't mind doing Sadiq just to pull him up with some excitingness there. Jordan
yeah, I like
Mason's
that.
there, who I really like. We could,
Mason
you
has
know,
been rising. There's some interest there, so I don't mind that either. Higgins, I haven't feel like I've clicked him a bunch, but I'm open to it. and I could see how he could have a better year too. Coker had some splash games. I'm pretty out on Shakir just for best ball. He's not great.
Do you want to do Mason and leave the door open for 5 running backs? And then we can throw volume at wide receiver if we need it, or Higgins. It's up to you, kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean, it's just because do you rather have your 4th running back or your 4th receiver? I guess Mason here, knowing Jones is cut, maybe the Vikings get better. I do
Like,
see his ADP moving up.
definitely, and I think the conversation here becomes like, who hits your flex more? Is it Jordan Mason or is it any of these wide receivers? And I think it's Jordan Mason, like fairly clearly. I mean, sure, they
Could be.
probably bring somebody in, but it's probably going to be a rookie because they're so strapped for cash. They are not spending a penny in free agency. They're doing nothing but cut good players from their roster. Grenard,
Right.
TJ Hawkinson going to be gone, right? So we know it's not going to be a free agent. It's and do you like a rookie to get on the field over Jordan Mason? Probably not. I
No,
think there's
no.
a lot of meat on the bone for
There's not a
Jordan Mason.
single rookie that the Vikings could draft that I mean, obviously Love, but I don't know that's super likely. It's not impossible, but I think Love is the only rookie the Vikings could get that would relegate Jordan Mason. People forget. I mean, I think it was like through 6 or 8 weeks. It was brief, but 2 years ago, the top rushing running backs in the league through like the first, beginning of the season, it was Saquon, it was Derrick Henry, and it was Jordan Mason. And then he gets injured last year. The Vikings just completely sucked, and he was splitting with Aaron Jones to a larger degree when he went over to the Vikings than when he was on the 49ers and McCaffrey was out. So different circumstance. I had Mason was my highest drafted running back last year, and it burned me. He hit the flex in 1 out of 17 weeks, which was pretty sad. It was like a 20+ point game, but I don't know. I think I chalk it up to the Vikings being so terrible last year with all of their QB issues. So it can
Well,
only get
and
better.
like you said early in the show too, like if it is Kyler, then it's a little bit of, let's
It's
say
good for running backs if it's
let's say
Kyler, actually.
exactly. That's what I was getting at. Let's say I'm not
Yeah,
going to say it's wheels up. Let's say it's training wheels up for Jordan Mason. It's not going to, it's definitely a good indicator that he should, again, especially with what we just said about it can only be a rookie that goes in there to compete with him. So again, with this year's rookie class, outside of Jeremiah Love, this is a really kind of dog shit class.
sure.
Like it's not good. It is really not good. Yeah, maybe we're quote fingers wrong on that, and some guy pops off and has a solid season, and there is potential for that. Nick Singleton could be, a
It'll be the cheap
perennial
guys.
Pro
It won't
Bowler.
be the guys. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't see myself ever really clicking Price, Coleman, even guys like Katron Allen later. I just don't really ever like clicked him as much. I don't know. I don't know what I need to convince me to start getting more of them. It's going to be landing spot essentially. And for this tournament,
yeah.
I'm not going to know that.
It's tough. I actually do like Katron Allen late. I think
What
he's
do you
a
like about
great
him?
pick. I think he's just extremely likely to get on the field over even some of the guys that go ahead of him. I think he's very, very, very live and likely to get on the field. Big body guy. I think the NFL is going to be moving back towards big body bruiser type running backs. We've been seeing it over the past few years, and he's probably, I would say, probably the best pass blocking running back in this draft class. So
That
that's going to
matters.
help him
Yeah.
get on the field. So I just think he's like, and with all the injuries that we see, and running backs are getting some run, unless he puts the ball in the ground his first 2 carries, like, which is possible, but I think he's going to have a real good shot to get on the field. I really do. So yeah, even over a guy like Emmett Johnson potentially. I think Katron Allen could get on the field before him, depending on obviously opportunity. We could take Rashid Shaheed here. I think that's a good prudent click.
What do you think? Do you have any ideas of where he might go?
I mean, he's been linked to Buffalo. but that's probably off the table now,
Yeah.
obviously. We could talk more about that in a second, but I think he's just
Yeah,
a good
I'm
click
fine with
when we
Steve
need a
for our
wide
first pick.
receiver
We do
here.
need a wide receiver,
We
and
could do McMillan
I
here.
like McMillan. I like McMillan. I have been pulling up McMillan in the 40s over the other guys in this range at wide receiver when I need one.
Yeah, I like that. We could also do Josh Downs if we wanted, but because if or when like Alec Pierce will be gone. So I think
Sure.
Downs could rise, but he still might not even be on the field in two wide receiver sets, if I'm being honest. Like he's just not that guy realistically.
I know. I feel like the expectation for Downs was always higher. And then after the rookie year, he didn't really progress enough and he didn't earn enough of a role in that offense. And
Yeah.
how much passing is there going to be in the Colts offense next year with Daniel Jones coming off the injury? I'd rather attach to like Baker and what we've seen from rookie year McMillan with all those touchdowns.
There's not a chance in the world that the 49ers take just Grenard for Mac Jones. If they wanted to do Grenard and like a third or a second, like realistically, they can hold the Vikings hostage. I'll say that because the Vikings need to get rid of Grenard but more than the 49ers need Grenard. And there's a lot of value in Mac Jones, but Flyfish likes Katron. I don't mind that take. I like Downs McMillan over Downs and Underdog. I agree with that just because, yeah, again, like you're saying there, like he was like the slappiest. Everybody loved Downs last year because of what he could be. And I think that it's always going to kind of stay there with him of like the kind of, I don't want to call it unearned potential, but just undeserved potential, or I don't know. I don't know exactly the way I want to phrase it, but he just never took that step. And he's never going to be able to take that next step because you're not playing him in two wide receiver sets. And I know that the NFL is moving towards more 12 and 13 personnel. So it's just tougher to take these slot only guys. It's getting tougher and tougher to take these slot only guys. I'll say that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In this format, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it matters a lot about the offense that they're in.
Especially half PPR. Like it's just so difficult to take those slot only type guys. So yeah. Once kind of Daniel Jones goes, I think it's pretty much over as far as the three running back is concerned, unless we want to go like a Kirk Cousins or I suppose Aaron Rodgers if people like him. I still think there's some concern he doesn't play.
There's concern. I was clicking more Aaron Rodgers. I've kind of slowed it just in the retirement concern, and but he was fine last year for fill-in. You're completely out on Penix. You don't think he's going to start the whole season?
No, I despise Penix for lots of different reasons, but I'm not drafting Penix whatsoever. My biggest take on outside of I suppose Penix, that's a different kind of conversation, but the Brissetts, the Rogers, the Cousins, the Genos, the Tuas,
It
all those
does
types of
sound
guys.
like recently that Kirk and Gino potentially are going to be starting somewhere. Gino seems
Well,
like it could be more of a bridge, but Kirk seems like he might get a shot to start, right?
so what I'm getting at is I'm waiting 3 days. I'm waiting 3 more days to find that out. Like I'm still gonna have 70 plus BBS or best big board, sorry, to draft. I want some pieces to fall. I want some dominoes to fall to know who I should or should not be drafting.
Yeah.
So come Monday, and let's say Kirk Cousins signs with the Vikings and or Geno signs with the Vikings or Tua goes to the Jets or whatever. I just want these landing spots to either disappear or be filled. And then I can make a more prudent decision on which one, like who of these dusty old, you know, vets or whatever you want to call them down here that I don't need to draft, or maybe I can pick off a share or two here and there sort of thing. I just don't think it's necessary to pick these guys right now is in a nutshell what I'm getting at.
Do you ever draft Ty Simpson?
No, I do not think he's ready to start in the NFL. So I never draft him. What do you want to do here? We could do like a Henry just to finish off our tight end room, or Barner, or we could do DK. We could take Downs with some value. What do you like?
Downs is fine. We're getting
K-Tron.
some value on him. I don't hate it. We do need receiver anyways.
Do
I
we
know
want
we
to go
just talked bad about him, but
do we potentially want to do K-Tron and be done at running back? That's not awful.
I'm open to it if he's the next best available running back and he's a rookie. Like that's plus. I'm not drafting really any Braylon Allen.
Not anymore, me. I was until Brees Hall got handcuffed into continuing to be a New York Jet.
I mean, if Brees Hall can't even be good as a Jet, what is their hope for Braylon Allen to be good as a Jet?
Well, the price was right for Braylon at the time. But now that Brees Hall is coming back, I'm not drafting. I have a pretty big bag of Braylon, and I will not be clicking him until the end of the rest of the contest. I will not be clicking Braylon.
Have you been clicking any of Tank Bigsby?
I haven't, though. I probably should. I've always been a big Tank Bigsby guy. I really like him. I liked him at Auburn a lot. I liked him in Jacksonville a good amount. But it's again, he's like we were talking about earlier. He's like the Ray Davis. Like he's fine. He's fine. And like realistically, like those are the guys that are going to win. If there's an injury to James Cook, if there's an injury to Saquon Barkley, these are league winners for sure.
Here's an interesting argument for Tank Bigsby that I've only recently heard. The Eagles are clearly winning their division. They have the first seed in the NFC. It's week 16. It's week 17. It's one of those weeks. They're sitting the starters. Tank Bigsby gets 20 touches.
That's a lot of ifs in that conversation.
It happened before.
I mean, I just think he's a talented running back is kind of where I'm at. Like I kind of know he's a talented running back. Like he looked really good in limited usage with the Eagles, where Barkley did not, with the same offense, same offensive line, same quarterback, same everything, apples to apples. Bigsby like arguably looked better than Barkley at times last year. So I know he's good, and I know he's the number 2. So again, like if Barkley goes down at any point, like Bigsby is a league winner for sure. You need that injury though. Like it's a straight up handcuff conversation. So it's the same again. It's the same as Ray Davis. It's the same as a lot of these guys down here. Vidal, you could argue, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, Vidal was kind of interesting when he was getting used, but he was in such a good situation with the Chargers. I know their O-line was banged up, but it's like he was getting a ton of touches, and I feel like the Chargers were able to still, until the second half of the season, score points.
Yeah, I think any running back in a Greg Roman system is going to do well, similar to Mike McDaniel, if I'm being honest. So as long as he doesn't get like replaced, which they did just bring him back. They just tendered him, which is actually pretty big news. I think it's like $3 million, 3-point-something million. So that's not nothing.
Oh, who was that? Sorry, I was.
Come on, Vidal.
He got tendered?
Yeah, he got tendered.
I did not.
Today.
So he's back with the Chargers. I did not see that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless someone wants to like really blow them out of the water.
It's kind of the best case for him, right?
It's absolutely the best case, 100%.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
it's like again, that. It's not nothing. Like again, $3 million. Like the Buccaneers did not tender Sean Tucker, and they go. I think Tucker might even go ahead of Vidal. Did he?
Vidal's already gotten drafted in this one, or is he still there?
Yeah, no, he went. But Tucker went ahead of Vidal, and he did not get tendered. So it's right. I don't know. That says a lot to me. We could go with like a Gunnar Helm here, or
I don't mind Gunnar Helm if you think we need that third tight end, and he's the guy you like out of this list.
It's pretty. Oh, there he goes. It's pretty thin down here. We could do Cade Otton, or Surratt is okay.
Who else we got at wide receiver?
Mason Taylor. There's always Jeremy.
Let's just take a tight end. Let's just go with the tight end if we can make one.
Let's do Cade Otton.
They're all very similar to me.
Yeah, free agent. I think Jeremy Bernard's always a click here, so it's kind of always Jeremy Bernard for me. And again, I think we can definitely be done at 5 running backs and 2 quarterbacks. So we have basically nothing but wide receiver volume here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We don't really have to force any stacks. We're just kind of taking best available players that we like. So
Jeremy Bernard's always the best player available. Always. Always. So I wanna get your take on this. I've been saying a lot recently to anyone that'll listen that like Jeremy Bernard's always a smash down here. Always a smash down here. I'm 70, probably up to a 75% now, Jeremy Bernard.
it's very high. If he gets hurt, you're I mean, it's a late pick, but
fine. It's fine. Good. Yeah. 17th. It's the 20th, 19th, 18th, now 17th round pick. I'm perfectly fine, even if it's a 0, which I unless he gets hurt, it's not going to be a 0. And are we playing thinking guys are getting hurt? I don't. So if you do, okay, depends on who it is. Like if we're talking, J.K. Dobbins, yeah, we can have that conversation. If we're talking a rookie, I probably am not going to entertain that personally. But I just think like everything that people like about Omar Cooper, I don't know how you can say Jeremy Bernard is any different. And I think there could be an argument that he could be better at a lot of those things. So the whole conversation why people may be light on Jeremy Bernard is he needs manufactured touches. You got to get him the ball. You got to find ways to get him the ball. And you're telling me that's not Omar Cooper as well? It's the same thing. Recently, I've come to the conclusion that the player comp for Jeremy Bernard is Omar Cooper. And the player comp for Omar Cooper is Jeremy Bernard. They're the same fucking guy. Like quite literally, they're the exact same player. And you can get Jeremy Bernard 50 picks later. So give me Jeremy Bernard every goddamn time, every day of the week. So yeah, looking at, again, I've been talking about this a few shows in a row. If you're looking at player comps, look at Lance Zierlein and Daniel Jeremiah, 2 of our favorite kind of, draft comp type of guys out there, right? The comp by Lance Zierlein for Jeremy Bernard is Robert Woods. Good comp. I like that. The comp for Omar Cooper by Daniel Jeremiah is Robert Woods.
Mm-hmm.
How much more fucking evidence do we need, guys? Like they're the same player. And again, I genuinely think that Jeremy Bernard could be better than Omar Cooper in a lot of areas. So I don't understand. And Jeremy Bernard finally just cracked the top 50 for Daniel Jeremiah, which this year I have some question marks considering Omar Cooper went from outside the top 50 to inside the top 20. That's just really interesting how that can happen for a guy.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I've heard you mention that.
Allegedly he hadn't watched him yet, but it's like, dude, that's your whole thing. Like you can't, how do you put out a top 50 when you haven't watched everybody yet? Like you haven't seen everybody. You kind of gotta, I don't know. I guess you have, time constraints. You got to do what you got to do.
Time constraints, recency bias. People can only have opinions on what they've seen. Otherwise, they're just kind of taking someone else's word for it, which
I just think it's a bad
less
look
conviction generally. So
I just think it's a bad look is all I thought with that. Do you want to add on another quarterback? I think we're honestly okay to not take any of these dusty guys down here.
We don't have to. I don't really feel strongly enough about anyone that's here at this point. I mean, Gino sounds like he's going to be bridge, but how much value is there a bridge quarterback when the money's in week 17?
Exactly. And what about running back? Do you think you like any of these guys enough to add them to our room? Jameer?
In this range is kind of like where I look for guys like Devin Neal. I don't mind. I think he's gone. I don't mind Ollie Gordon.
Do you want to take another one? It's up to you.
I'm cool with going like all. You don't have to. I mean, if it'd be wide receiver or because we're done everywhere else, it's like.
So who do we like here?
The team that we have so far,
it's pretty thin.
Yeah,
we could take another. Great. We could take another rookie if we want.
Malik Washington's kind of interesting. I don't take a lot of them, but he potentially gets on the field.
I don't necessarily want to double
I don't
stack
mind Noel.
Miami.
Noel should step
we
forward.
take
I know Christian Kirk did absolutely nothing last season, but potentially that was just a barrier for him to get on the field and play snaps. And so it opens up more opportunity for Noel to be on the field actually that Kirk's gone.
Kirk did have that one big spike week late in the season.
He was just always on he played a ton. He was always on the field, it seemed. He just like wasn't very, effective.
I think the concern people have for Jalen Noel, I suppose, is the Tank Dell, which I love Tank Dell. I've always been a big Tank Dell guy, but like it is pretty hard to continue to play that position with the injuries he's had. It's just not easy. I know he's young-ish and he could recover, I suppose, but it's just concerning. Are you drafting Caleb Johnson?
No, I'm not. I was probably a month ago a couple times, and I've stopped.
Yeah, I probably have 2 clicks maybe, so same sort of thing. Cooper's advanced measures are stronger but smaller sample size, both good clicks, but yeah, same archetype. Again, 50 picks later, give me Jeremy Bernard. Who's the experts? I wouldn't consider myself an expert, and I wouldn't consider Candyman an expert either, if I'm being honest.
Not at all.
I don't think either of us are experts, so we're not calling ourselves experts. I'll say that. Maybe you're talking about DJ and Lance Zerline. I don't know, but
yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
I think maybe argument for Cooper continues to rise, goes back to round 1 to a good team. Bernard goes round 2 to a shit team. That could mean more opportunities. I mean, if we look at like where I guess mock drafts and Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 is concerned, then Jeremy Bernard should go at the top half of the second round, which who knows, because there's a ton of teams, even a team like the Cowboys, but I don't think that happens. But and there's even been some quietly, there's been some first round buzz for Jeremy Bernard. Not as much as like obviously Cooper and a bunch of other guys, but that just feels good to have that kind of buzz. Are you drafting Jacoby Lane or Keenan?
Not really. I mean, I'm not really drafting so many of these rookie wide receivers in general, and then I'm not really drafting so many of the late ones. I just don't have a lot of high conviction. I like the idea of having a rookie wide receiver on your team, because essentially every team that's ever won one of these tournaments has a rookie wide receiver, and it's usually a cheap one. So I do like the idea of that, but I don't really have a ton of conviction around them right now.
I can't be drafting Jacoby Lane. I mean, I have a couple clicks of him, I suppose. And I guess he's fun in some ways. He's definitely a red zone guy, so he can go up and get it and fall into the end zone twice at the back of the end zone sort of thing. But I don't know. I have a hard time with Jacoby Lane. I really do. I think he's a great like dynasty play. If you're in a dynasty league, sure, take some shots on Jacoby Lane. I do not think he's a good underdog best ball pick as a rookie, personally.
So with this last pick, a 2-6-8-3 is what we're sitting at. Is that right? So would you go 7th running back? Would you go 4th tight end? Would you take any stab at a QB, or do you just go one more running back, I guess?
Definitely need a wide receiver. I think we definitely need a wide receiver. Our running back
go 9 receivers.
Shape. Oh yeah. This is not the greatest wide receiver room, if you ask me. I think we need more volume at it, personally.
Okay, so if we want a receiver that can actually produce, where do we look, and do we try to like lean into a team we've already invested in is a question as well.
We could. I mean, I don't mind like a Ted Hurst here. I don't mind even like a Skylar Bell, or we could take Isaiah Bond. Tez Johnson's not a bad click. Jack Besh, I'm okay with. Even like Yoshivas we could take if we wanted to.
And when I get super late like this and I need a guy who can produce, I usually go either Yoshivas or Naylor. I like Tez Johnson. I've done Besh a few times.
Take your favorite of this list here. Let's just do that. Make it easy.
Yeah, I'd go Yoshivas.
Let's do it. That's my first Yoshivas share, believe it or not.
I haven't done it a ton, but it's like it's easy to see. He's on a team with Joe Burrow. End of story.
Yeah, I was a massive drafter of him last year in Best Ball
Right.
Mania season when there was just no replacement for him. That's my concern is like maybe he gets a draft pick comes in and kind of beats him out for the job, which is possible. I like Yoshi Boss though. He's a very good in real life player. And therefore he could get on the field and be fine in best ball. So I don't mind that. It's just like with Laporta, Sadiq, Auden, that's perfectly fine with our tight end room. I feel like, especially when we took a sub 100 pick on Laporta, and then with Gibbs, Bucky, Tootin, Mason, like we kind of made our bed as far as running back is concerned. Quarterback, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, yeah, that just does unless Tua, but yeah, I don't know how you feel about Tua with potentially the Jets.
No, I
So
would
I think
hate
it's
that.
just it just has to kind of be wide receiver for me there. When we take these kind of shots with like Downs, Shaheed, we didn't actually finish that thought. So where does Shaheed go? Again,
Yeah,
the Bills are now off the table. I think there's, I mean, supposedly obviously there's interest with the Seahawks, but supposedly they're very far apart as far as a contract is concerned.
sure.
So and I was saying this with Jerry Football on Wednesday about Shaheed. I think he just genuinely takes the biggest contract that's put in front of him because this is going to be the only chance he gets to make money in his career. So he was I think he was undrafted free agent, came out. I think he got paid a little bit to come back with the Saints, but it wasn't a huge contract. This is his shot to really get paid, especially with the new return rules where he has a ton more value. So this is his chance to get paid. So where does he go? Whoever puts the biggest contract in front of him, I feel like. And who is that? I mean, your guess is as good as mine, honestly. Like he could be a good fit with the 49ers, and I think it would make a lot of sense. He's been on the West Coast his whole career, sort of thing. Well, the Saints no, but over here with the Seahawks, stays on the West Coast. That's a potential. I don't know. I don't know. That's my take on Shaheed is he just takes the biggest contract he gets offered.
I think so, and I have no idea like where he's gonna go. But yeah, uh, I think of all the teams that need wide receiver, and I feel like they're gonna be drafting it, and the free agent wide receivers. I don't know how much interest there's going to be in a lot of these names if they're going to be able to get big contracts. I mean, the receiver contracts are typically already bigger than they should be for the free agent guys, but we'll just kind of see. It's going to a lot's going to change in the next week or two, right?
Well, even like 3 days. So that'll be, yeah, Mondays are going to be a big day. I'm not getting a lot of work done on Monday. I'll tell you that much.
I'm on vacation for the next week, so I'm pretty pumped just to
There
be
you
tuned
go.
in.
There you go. Yeah, these are kind of, I mean, Shaheed to the Raiders. I can see that obviously with Clint Kubiak, but like Trey Tucker's already there and they
Yeah, that's
do a
what I was
lot of the same
thinking.
things. So I just don't know if it realistically makes a lot of sense for the Raiders, though, like Clint
And they drafted
Kubiak
Thornton
doesn't.
last year, another like downfield option, and they have
Well,
Besh. There's
I
just
don't
there's
I don't think
replacements
those
for a lot
guys.
of what they've lost.
Yeah, I don't think those guys would really affect Shaheed as far as his role realistically. Like, yeah, I guess Thornton, like the downfield aspect of that, but Shaheed plays it a different way and kind of wins in a different way. Like Shaheed can actually run routes where
Yeah, I've been a
Thornton
big fan of
cannot.
Shaheed. Wasn't it the meniscus that was like 2 seasons ago? It was his meniscus, and ever since then, he just hasn't been as dominant.
I mean, the only thing that for Shaheed to the Raiders is like Clint Kubiak can't even spell Trey Tucker. So he doesn't give a shit about Trey Tucker. And yeah, that's basically and he knows what Shaheed can do and he knows where he fits and all that kind of stuff. So um yeah, double duty. I mean, kick returners are going to be easier to replace these days. Um Eric All with his injuries, I just don't know if I can get on board with that. Atlanta for Shaheed, yeah, if they're willing to pay. Again, I think it's just going to come down to money, realistically, for Shaheed. Let's roll through the team. 2693. We got Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. We got Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Bayshall Tootin, Jordan Mason, Katron Allen, Ollie Gordon.
That's a fun running back room, actually.
I think it's really fun. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
especially the Gibbs and the Tootin, I think is great. And then we got hopefully high floor guy with Mason. Katron. I haven't clicked. So this is the first share of Ollie Gordon I have, and the first share of Andre Yoshibas I have. So
Perfect.
yeah, that's fun. Chris Olave, Zay Flowers, Roma Dunze, Rashid Shaheed, Jalen McMillan, Josh Downs, Jeremy Bernard, Jalen Noel, Andre Yoshibas. I like that. I'm taking a lot of Noel. How about you at on Noel as far as your exposure?
I have some. I don't know my exposure on him exactly, but I feel like I do want to click him more. I don't know what it is. I feel like people in the drafts that I'm in, he either I'm done with wide receiver at that point and I have 7 that I feel good about, or he goes like right before I take him every time. So he's in my like thought process. I haven't gotten to it a lot and I haven't taken a lot of Stroud, so I'm not like, oh, I need another Texan late, and I end up, that through a stack getting more of them.
He's actually kind of my favorite click down here as far as like you were saying earlier, like who's down here that can produce. I think Noel is like borderline at the top of that list. I feel
Sure.
like over guys like Mooney, Iomanor, Mims, Cup, right? Like guys like that, like non-rookies that we feel like have a good shot to produce, like Malik Washington or Jalen Noel.
Yeah, that's one's interesting. I still would favor Noel. I wonder what's going to happen with the Dolphins, if they're even a place you want to have any fantasy investment. But there is a lot of opportunity opening up, in their offense, whatever that is in the future, whatever kind of whoever's offense it is. I mean, with Mike McDaniel gone, I start to question if Achane is going to be as effective too. But he's still so intriguing and so good that like I want to still draft him like and not be underexposed to Achane.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby Slowick. I don't know. I don't know. And obviously the quarterback situation is the big concern there when we're
Yeah.
talking about the Dolphins. But yeah, I mean, Achan's just when you can score from 80 yards at the blink of an eye, it's kind of tough to fade a guy like Achan completely. Though I'm with you there, and I'm not even probably going to be at the field on Achan. I'll be a little below, maybe.
I'm probably going to be a little below because the
Yeah.
struggle, like you said, is who's the quarterback? Can they generate touchdowns? Because Achane has always been good at getting yardage, creating yardage, receptions, everything. He can do it all. The team is letting him down. The offensive line's letting him down. The quarterback's letting him down. They're not producing enough touchdowns in offense for him to get to a Bijan or Gibbs level, 15 to 20 touchdowns range. It's just not in the cards, I think. So that's going to kind of limit his upside a good amount.
Yeah, when they might not score that many touchdowns as a team.
Right. I know.
It's kind of tough.
That's where I start to worry, because then I think about guys like Swift, who I draft a bunch of. I mean, he easily could have a shit ton of touchdowns with the Bears. They could put together a really good offense again. I know they had their center retire kind of recently. That things like that can happen. I think there's a lot of good, a lot of tailwinds with the Bears offense that they can get even better.
Yeah, like realistically, he could pick up the scraps. That might be a bit harsh, but he could pick up the scraps and score as many touchdowns as Achan.
Yeah,
Potentially.
easily.
Like that might be a bit harsh and a bit extreme, of an example, but it's you know what I mean?
If their offense scores twice as many touchdowns,
exactly. Like
he just has more opportunity.
It's within the realm of possibility that he just kind of like Monungai is still like the goal line back, and DeAndre Swift doesn't score a touchdown shorter than 10 yards, and he still has more touchdowns than Devon Achane. I think that that's somewhat live to happen. So Achan's not going anywhere. They're not selling Achane. That would be really silly. Same thing with Waddle. They're not trading Waddle. Those have been conversations, and that's just kind of not happening. I don't think Noel gets buried by Higgins whatsoever. I think they play different positions. Noel's slot guy, kind of slot only. It's Tank Dell, but Tank Dell's just, again, those injuries, man, they're just too gruesome to be able to play that position at a high level. Realistically, I just can't. I'll believe it when I see it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong on a 19th, 20th round Jalen Noel, because I have a bag of Jalen Noel, like 20+%. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it is what it is. I mean, I would argue he's his third best, but that's okay. It's close enough. Do you got anything for the peeps? You want to get out of here? Let's wrap this sucker up.
Yeah, I got a plane to catch in the morning, so I'm pumped. I'm going out to
where are you going?
To Florida. I'm going out to, it's just south of Tampa, Sarasota. So I'm gonna be on the beach for the next 5 days, chilling, family time, all that good stuff. But otherwise, I've been doing NFL best ball streams every Monday night. I do PGA best ball streams every Tuesday night, and then probably about 2 other nights a week, kind of at my discretion. Either it's Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mix it in. Usually not Sunday, but it could be just mixing in more NFL best ball and just having fun. And man, thanks for having me on. Always good. Oh, Fantasy Dog, too kind. You guys are the chat has been popping off tonight. Love all of the interaction. Appreciate y'all, and appreciate Cody for having me. Always fun to cut it up, my man. Love getting your takes on the year. It helps me change the way I think about some of mine as well. So we'll have to do it again soon. Especially we'll have so much more to talk about with everything going on. Free agency is about to kick off, and then we have, of course, the NFL draft. So like, there's just so much on the horizon. I'm so pumped for this best ball season.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you coming on. Like I said, guys, hit the like button on your way out. Like Mr. Mufasa said over here, appreciate that. Link for Candyman's channel down in the description. Hit the subscribe button if you like the content. We'll be doing this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at late shift now is what we're doing. So 11 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can kind of book that in. That's all I got. Are we done? That's it. That's all I got. Hit the like button on your way out. Like we said, like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight, Candyman and I are right. We win the big board. Have yourselves a great weekend. Enjoy your vacation.